Alrighty, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So, if you were with us for the last video, we built this fancy thing that does some stuff, and it worked great. We made a real estate panel, system, whatever you want to call it. So, at the end of that video, as you probably noticed, I had the button, maybe I explained it in the last video, I don't really know, it was late. I had the button set up backwards, so now that we're able to give those values to the player, alright, now that we're, these ones here should all be 0, I think. Yeah, now that we're able to give those values, we're able to search those values. So, like this, for example, the wrong house. See, I gave myself some more money because I don't want to be poor. I got to keep up to all the other people who might be playing this game. There's nobody right now. Perfect, so I'm ahead. So what I did is I added the low range, the medium range, and the high range. And then I added 3 different timers. Alright, you don't want these to finish at the same time because they fire the same variables. Cash saves with the one variable, experience saves with the one variable. So if you have multiple events firing at the same time, they will send too many requests to the main server. And there's a chance that it might not save all those requests. It'll just dump them. And then it'll be as if you didn't do anything. So that's why you want to make sure when you're making timers that they don't all end at the same time. Or if they do, then only one of them fires the save value. Okay? So, because we can search to see if I own this building or not, the low end, the value is 0. So let's say I try and sell it. It says purchase property because it's searching this value and it says, you have no value, so you need to purchase it first. That's important because the way that I had it set up was you could just press this button and it would sell the property and then you would get money. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to just spam it a whole bunch of times to be rich. We want to say, hey, if you don't have the property, so I'll show that part in the code. But what I wanted to go over is, so what this does is this saves your transaction. So we'll purchase this one here. Okay, it costs 6,000. All right, now right now, if I sell it, we'll take the reward. If I sell it, I'll get all my money back. Right, I'll get $2,000. I'll get 100 experience. There we go. Then I can sell it. There. I got my initial investment back. Now, I'm going to change it probably down to 50%. But I just wanted to show that that's the power of being able to save and load data. It's now the player is able to, quote unquote, invest in these properties. And then when he sells it, he's able to get some of that money back or all of it back, depending on how you want to set that up. You could also reward them with experience. For selling it, you could give them a badge, right? Congratulations on selling your property. There's all kinds of other things that we will eventually associate with these functions. It's just right now, that's just the way it is. So yeah, so we come in here and it was on the, look at the functions first. So what I did is here we have the values when you buy it. It sets, this is the value of the this is the transaction number, and then this is how much we pay. Basically, that's the easiest way to look at it, that it saves what we paid and it saves the transaction number. Then we have our medium class. This is our transaction number, and this is what it's the value that it saves. So it's saving the fact that we paid 12,000. So then when we sell the property, it resets the transaction number, and then it refunds the value that we paid. Right, 6, 12, and 24. But in this case, if we want to add a little bit of a challenge, we'll only give the player 50% back. So now they're going to get 3, they're going to get 6, and they're going to get 12. And now there's an incentive to hold on to it for longer without dumping it. I don't know, I just kind of thought of that idea, that I thought it was kind of neat. Because what it does is it gives the player the option, you know. So what I want to do now, is we're kind of going full circle here. So we built a, here, I'll save that. So we built the system, right? We had to design this developer interface So that way we could spawn the vehicles and test the vehicles. while we were setting up our initial missions. So that part is done. We've now introduced a transaction system. So what I want to do is I want to expand on that transaction system. What I want to do is I want to now lock down the free vehicles that we were giving out to the players, these vehicles here, and I want to lock these down to your level. Okay? Because you can now take the very first truck, the base truck that we have, and we can use that to deliver freight. And we can get experience and we can get cash using that vehicle. So that's kind of going to be like the step one grind vehicle is the initial truck. So if this was like an RPG where it was like a hack and slash RPG, which we'll build, these would be like, the level 1 monsters, right? You got to grind down the level 1 monsters for a long, long time until you have the experience to get to level 2, and then you need the money to buy better equipment. It's basically the same concept, right? It's just in this case, it's vehicles. So we're thinking about that in a different way. So we have this. So this is going to be locked down, right? Because we have cash and we have experience. Well, we don't have anything here for the level. So that's what we need to do now. So this screen here needs to be installed into, or not the screen, I should say. Let's see. I can move this back to where it was. Let's reset this up here. Because for now we're done. For now we're done with it. Okay, and then all I need to do is call that button functions. And I think it already has the surface light in it. Let's find out. Yeah, there it is right there with the surface light. Okay, so we can take this. It's got the surface light and it has the decal in it. So we just need to copy that. And then we need to rename it. Is it functions with 2 U's, I think? Oh boy. No. Alright, we're done with that. Here, we need to rename this. Just like that. Then we need to copy this. So I'll still need to travel around and test each house to make sure that this functions. So let's see, that's C. We'll just paste it into all of them first. House, PC, D, E, oh, goodness me. There's 10. I increased the server size to 20, but I am going to reduce it back down to 10. Now that I've introduced this system, I was thinking of just going in a different direction. But now that I've done this, I am going to not go in the direction I was thinking, and we're going to go stick with the original direction. And I'm going to leave the server size at 10 for now, because if I expand it, then I have to add additional properties. And it was a lot to get these 10 properties in as it was. So my plan was to perhaps build like a condo or two on the map. So you could either buy a house or you could buy a condo. But that's going to be future expansion because the houses cost money, but the condos for some reason are going to be not as much. I don't know. I haven't quite figured that out. There's a couple of things that still need to be figured out. Okay, so now I have to go back to every single model and I have to change the name. I'm just making sure that I'm being precise, because if the names are wrong, it's not going to be able to find it, and I just am hoping that if it works, this way I can test it and everything will function and there won't be any issues, and I can smooth through that process. And I'm just copying and pasting because my keyboard, like I say, it's the one I'm using right now. Alright, so you see what I'm doing. Basically, you get the idea here. Once we've built that interface is modular, you can put it into anything. This could be an NPC that we're putting it into that you have to talk to. Maybe the NPC, then you bring up, it's like a real estate agent or something. And he says, hey, would you like to buy this house? And then this option comes up, and then you buy the house, and then he disappears. Like, it could be anything, whatever you can imagine. Okay, so now that that part is done, the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to go through these rent buttons, and I wanted to restrict this one here. I wanted to restrict it to, it already cost $100, but I want to change it. So if we made these, say, 10,000, like that. So what it should do is it should check to make sure that we have, let's see, if player dot leader stats dot xp leader dot xp dot value is greater than let's see, let's say 500. Then and then right down here we'll say else. Let's see. We'll say script dot parent dot proximity prompt. Oops. Script dot parent dot proximity prompt dot action text equals you need more XP. Perfect. So that's all we need to do there. And then it's going to take, it won't take experience, but you'll need cash, because cash, all right, let me run through this process real quick here. So hopefully I have enough experience. No, I don't. Okay, so if I come over here, rent home 10,000, it does nothing. But it doesn't change the action text either on the proximity prompt. Yeah, the action text. It should have said you need more XP, but it didn't change. Huh. Yeah, dot action check text. That's it. That's all there is. All right. So if I lower that to 400, it'll go through and then it'll do the transaction. So we'll make it 100 just for the test for the track. Because I don't know if you want to pay money when you spawn the house or when you get the interface. Probably when you spawn the house, and then that way, if you get the interface and you close it, I could tell it not to reset on spawn. Yeah, maybe that's what I have to do with that one. There, so it worked that time. Alright, and then we say spawn home. That's right, and then this doesn't, we can minimize this hide screen like that. And does it reset on spawn? It doesn't, it stays with the player. Oh, that's cool. So once you have a house, you have the house. So the only way so you have it until you leave the server. That's good. That's perfect. That's the way it should be. Excellent. Okay. So that solves that. That solves that mystery. So then we just go to the trading UI and then we'll just change it to 10,000. I just want to make this part of the process complete. So it's 10,000 for that. You need to have at least 500 experience. We'll say 400 experience. So then this one here, it'll say rent home 10,000. And then it should say you need I guess. Let's see how that looks. It might be too much information for a proximity prop, right? That's the worry. So then you have to find a way to make a screen somewhere so the player can read it. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get into the level system. Level system is pretty easy. Where are we at here? 20 minutes? Yeah, level system is pretty easy. It's basically the same thing, right? So what you do is you create a value on the player and you call that level 1. And then you give it a transaction number. And then you make an interface. And when the person clicks the button, it makes the transaction number the number. And then voila, they have level 1. And then if they have level 1 when they join the game, you can see if they have level 1. And if they do, you can then teleport stuff. You can clone stuff onto the player when they join the game. And they'll get maybe access to like the bus or something like that, right? All right, so this should be I don't know why that went through. Oh, because I had 400 XP. And I changed the button to 500. Yeah, you need more for. Okay, so it worked. So it worked. All right, so I just lost 10 grand. All right, perfect. Okay, so that went through. That went through. But see, you see how it says here, data store request was added, and it is saying trailer UI server line 40. That's this here. So because I clicked it, let's see, I clicked it. One request was at 2513, and see, I clicked it again really quickly, and that's why it gave me this warning here. So that's what I'm saying, that when you make your timers and you have different timers, you want to make sure that they don't end at the same time, because otherwise you're going to get these errors where it's going to say, look, we have too many requests in too short of a time. They need, you want them to be like 1 or 2 seconds apart. Otherwise, it says if it fills, then it'll just drop the requests. So you run the issue of losing data. And this is the problem that I had with the last game I built there, Project Alpha, was that too many requests fire too many times. So it saves, it does save because one of the requests finally goes through. But there was just too many of these P calls, right? So you have to kind of limit them. You don't want them everywhere, but you want them where you need them. All right, so now we take this script, so because it worked and all that good stuff, we have to paste this into all of these. We're just adding that one function, but we're making it so that way it's all the same. Yeah, you could have one server script, and when they activate this, it fires this as a function. And I'm sure there's better ways of doing this. But like I say, my approach is just simple. It's simple. It's rough. It's just, because what we're doing is we're building the infrastructure. Once the infrastructure is built, we can then go back over it. We can smooth it out. We can, But during the design phase, there's going to be a lot of this back and forth, back and forth. Oh, maybe I don't want that. Maybe I don't need that anymore. This is part of that process. Uh-oh. It did that to me earlier, where it was like, it just dumped me out of Studio. All right, perfect. So we can take this, what is it? This is the screen UI, this thing here. Background transparency. All right. Now we can start working on this. We can turn this into a main interface. So what I want to do is I want to add a insert an object, and this is going to be just a text button on the screen. And we can call this trucks. No, I don't want it to be a text button. I want this to be an image button. So we're going to go insert object, an image button. Now, what image do we want that to be? I think I already have one. Let's see. I think I already have one in here. Could be this one, or it could be, where's the other one? This one here. Okay, and then we can duplicate that. And that icon can be something different. We'll use the trailer one. This one here. And then we'll duplicate that. And this one here can be the level up system. And that's it. And then maybe we'll have a map, you know, something like that, right? We can duplicate this, drag this down here, and then this could be like a map button. Where is it here? I had one that I was using. There was the level up, but like there it is. That could be like a map button, whatever. So we'll start with this one here. And then what we're going to do, we're going to insert object, a frame, and we'll call this trucks. Now this frame here, do that for now. This could probably be just a regular frame, actually. It doesn't need to be a scrolling frame. I was thinking it might need to be a scrolling frame, but it doesn't need to be. So this one here, where let's just insert object. We'll do a local script here, or do I want to do a master script? Yeah, we'll do a master script. Let's see. We'll do that, then we'll just code it from here. So we need some variables. Trucks script.parent trucks, and then the trailers and so on and so forth. But we're just going to do trucks for now. Okay, now inside here, we need some images. So we need to go to server storage, and we need to go to trucks, and we need to go to here. I think they're all in the same spot. I think. No, of course not. Oh boy, what is going on with you right now? Does not want to load. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. So we can do this here. The old good old print screen. Good old print screen. Crop that. Oh boy. There we go. You want to save that. Whatever you want to call it. Alright, and then in our game, we want to then take the base semi. We're now done with this model. Let me put it back. Now, for this interface, in here, we're going to insert object, an image button. And, you know, we could, okay, there's a couple of ways we can do this. We'll insert object, we'll just make it a list for now. And then that way, we'll make this like, you know, something like that. And then these buttons will be, all right, let's just see how it looks with the images. And then we can figure out from there. Where's it here? Champ space semi, okay, great. So now instead of having like they just click on that. It's the same thing as a regular button, right? So then they can click on that. There's a truck. And then what we need to do is we need to duplicate that. So this is our base semi. Now, what we can do is we can, let's see, we'll get rid of that. We can go insert object, a frame, okay? We can make a frame like this. Let's see. We don't want it to be too much bigger, but it could be like that. We could take this in here. We could call this the base. Whatever, right? And then you could put that in there, and you see it saves the frame. And why is that handy? That's handy because then you can say insert object UI list layout, and then you can go insert object a text label. And now we can, on the text label, we can add text. And we can explain what the vehicle is, right? This is a base truck. This is second tier truck. I guess this is the second tier truck. I don't know. Let's see. It works. All semi-trailers. Alright, so it has, and that's basically it. Something like that, right? And then when you get in it, we can add more information to it. So then we can take this here and we can duplicate it. And now this next one can be our toe. And then this here can be toe. Right? And then now what we need to do is we need to take this and we need to disable it like that. We need to take the tow truck, which is right here. Same thing, you get your image. We want to edit our image as best we can. And when we're ready, crop it, save as. I like saving them as JPEGs, they're smaller that way. Alright, perfect, just like that. Right, eventually I'll be adding the concrete truck and I'll be adding, there's going to be all kinds of stuff added on here. There's going to be some of these buildings over here that'll be under construction and you'll be able to bring building materials to them. Like I'm going to go all out on this one and just kind of, just really make it a real quality game. All right, so we do that. What are we doing now? 2 is probably enough to get the example started. And now we're adding images to the game. So anytime you want to reference the tow truck, you just have to click image there and it'll come up in that drop down menu. Any of these images that we're adding. Let's see, it'll be Champs Tow. There it is right there. Right, and then you would add the bus. And that's why I was debating on whether this was going to be a scrolling frame or not. But it could be a scrolling frame. This here, we could replace it. We can go insert object, scrolling frame. Like that. And we could make it we could do that. We can call that trucks. Oh boy. And then we could just put this in there, and then we could take this, and we could put that in there, and delete that. And now it becomes a scrolling frame. You see that? That is the power of what we're able to do. Just like that. And now we just continue to add. So, script up here, .trucks. And then we can say, so from here we just need to say trucks. Truck dot base semi dot base semi, right? Now mouse button one down, connect function, and then what do we want it to do? So then we go into the trucks frame right here, and we just say, well, we'll take all these events and we'll put them into here. First off, now we need the base semi. Spawn flatbed, spawn tow truck. I think it's spawn truck actually. Script.parent.spawn tow .spawn truck event fire server. Event is the base truck. Alright, so we need this code here. Right, so you see it's a little back and forth. Now I need this code because I already sorted out through removing of the vehicles which vehicles are going to be in the workspace and which vehicles aren't when you press the buttons. So now we got to go back through and just kind of redo all of that. So now when I click on that, so let's do that one, and then let's do the tow truck as well. So we should say truck .tow. We'll say mouse button one down, right? Connect function. So, and then what we're going to do is we'll go into here, and then we need to find in the local script where the tow truck is. That's the garbage truck. That's the flatbed. This is the tow truck here. Now, because it works with all the vehicles, we can spawn it in all by itself. So, we have those two buttons. Let's just spawn in and test it. We'll come back over here to our testing grounds. We'll spawn in and test it. Yeah, if I had more Robux, I could pay people to test the game, but so I had like over 3,000, and I was like, okay, so when you start a Roblox ads account, it says that you can use Roblox to advertise, but it says you need a minimum of 10 ad credits to get to the advertisement screen. So I spent 3,000 Robux to get the 10 ad credits. Then it says you need a minimum of 20 ad credits to run the campaign. So I was like, this is complete BS, but now you know. So you need 6,000 Robux, right? It's basically 20 US. It's the equivalent of 20 US. It's the equivalent of a typical ad campaign. Is what you need to get. So you can either do that by paying with Robux, or you can do that by paying. But it doesn't explain that to you when you pay with Robux. It just says you need a minimum of 10 ad credits for your ads account. So you get your 10 ad credits by spending 3,000 Robux. Then it says you need a minimum of 20 ad credits to run a campaign. So then you need to double your amount of Robux. I'm just throwing that out there for people who are they're wondering. I had over 3,000. I just got a couple hundred, so I'm just waiting until I can get some more so I can try that out. Okay, so the tow track, let's see here. We should be alright to try it now. I was a little disappointed to say the least. And I don't think you can do a daily campaign with the Robux, but I'll find out here when I'm able to get more. Just I can't right now. So, all right, so we spawn in. So if we press this, I'm gonna get all kinds of errors. Yeah, because that's not connected. Okay. What about that? Oh, there's the tow truck. Yeah, so if you're wondering why when you spawn it in, it seems like it's still on top of that model. You just have to move out of the way and then it spawns. It's the same with the trailers. I don't know why, but it just takes a minute for that to clear. That's just the way it is. Okay, so the two buttons work. Now you can see that it's the same as the text button or an image button. They're exactly the same. So now what I need to do, because when you click on this button here of the tow truck, if you don't have enough experience, instead of this image, it's going to show us another image. And it'll say, these are the requirements that you need to purchase the truck. I think that's the easiest thing to do. And that's what I like about using image labels versus these buttons. You can change the text on the button. With the image label, you can just change the image. It's the same, I guess, as changing the text. So it's 6 in one, half dozen in the other, right? It just depends on what you want. So we're at that stage. Holy cow, we're at that stage. 45 minutes in here. So we have these two vehicles. We're able to spawn them in. Now what do we need to do? We need to check the our button, our bouton that we made on the screen, right? Which is this one here. This will be trucks. All right, so then in our master script, we want to say script parent dot truck screen dot mouse button one down connect function, and we want to say if dot visible equals a false, then is equal to false. Then we can say make it equal to true. Make it equal to true, and then we can say else. Do I need to say else? I think I need to say else if on this one here. And then we can say if this is true, that probably won't work. Then no, perhaps. Oh, because it's double function equals true. Then, and then put this in there, it needs to equal false. I think that will work. We'll try that. We'll try that. No, script parent dot trucks. yeah, so at this point in time, basically what we need to do is just test these few buttons, make sure they work. And then it's going to be the same thing when you purchase this tow truck. We'll have a value on the player called tow truck. We need to assign a transaction number that we can then reference in the game. So we can say, if they have this transaction number, do this. If they don't have this transaction number, do that. That's basically going to be the end of this setup. I'll put out a couple more videos. Look, I got minus 2,000 cash. That's odd. How did that happen? How did that happen? Oh, I probably purchased the house because I had 400 XP. Oh, we're gonna have to take a look at that. Oh boy, that could get people into trouble. Okay, so then if I click on that, there we go, made that perfect. And then this is basically just gonna be our store. So that's basically gonna do it for that. The setup for our store, and then we're just gonna fire the values through here. I don't think we need to. Let's see. Yeah, because when you click on this button, it'll have to check to see if you've purchased it. So to make the purchase, we're going to have to do the same thing that we did with everything else for this one. We're going to have to put this in replicated storage, and it's going to have to be cloned to the player when you join the game, and it's going to have a value, an object value in it, just like everything else. All right, we'll call this functions. And then we're also in the replicated storage. We just need to have a remote event, and we can call this level, or we can call this store, even just like that. And so when we're doing this, because when we click on base semi, right now it spawns it in, but we want to change this to include the purchasing function. So I guess we'll go over that in the next video. Hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to understand. I do want to check on the homes though. Oh, you can, if you have more than 5,000 and the home is 10,000. I should change that. I should change that actually to 10. And then that way we don't get a situation where you use it, but you can't buy it. Yeah, that makes more sense. All right, so that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. You guys are awesome, and I'll see you all in the next one.